What up, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy Big Dave, and y'all know what it is. What up, doe? Man, I got some good shit to talk about tonight. Man, I got a special guest on the show. Would you like to introduce yourself, bruh?
What's good, Big Dave? It's your boy Dame D from the What Up Though Show. I am back again with another one.
Oh man, you know we ain't gonna stop. We don't stop. What did he say? Take that, take that.
Let's
Well,
get
big,
it.
yeah, let's get it, bro. Big man, we got two things to talk about tonight. You know what I'm saying? Man, congratulations on Shannon Sharpe getting that dismissed without prejudice.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm heard he only selling out for 10 million most likely. You did. So that's a good thing for Shannon Sharpe. He said it was a shakedown at the get-go, but you gotta be careful with them saltines, man. He met this girl when she was 20 years old. And I'm not knocking her age because you know what I'm saying. But us that have daughters, we have to teach our daughters and be careful with our daughters with these men, these older men. You did,
For
but
sure.
yeah, man, Dane. Like I said, I'm happy for the win for Shannon Sharp. Now the thing is, I don't know if he's gonna be able to get his job back on ESPN. Now they say he walked away, he stepped away um, for right now. And he said he'll be back by time preseason come for football. So we'll see if he get back in there. I hope he can because, like he said, it was a shakedown. This chick trying to get money, saying he raped her. She said she beat him, and he beat her and all this. And I'm not trying to knock her or nothing like this, but this been going on for 2 or 3 years, and you just saying something now?
Man, listen, let me say this first and foremost, Dave. I'm glad that they dismissed the case without prejudice, but at the same time, I'm upset with Shannon Sharp. Let me say this, first and foremost, we don't know exactly how much they're giving this young lady. But from what it sounds like, they're giving her anywhere from 10 million or more. From the beginning, they said that they wasn't giving her, well, I'm not going to say they didn't say they wasn't going to give her shit, because at one point they offered her the 10 million, at one point. But if they let this case go and they dropped it without prejudice, man, I would have stood on business with this Big Dave. I wouldn't have gave this bitch shit. I
Well,
wouldn't have gave this
let's
bitch a
look at it like
motherfucking dollar.
it's a settlement lawsuit. She was trying to sue for 50 million. If she get 10,
And
because there was no
fucked up
way.
his endorsements, fucked up a lot of deals. You know what I
Well, we'll
mean?
see. We'll see. This is what we don't know. That could be why he's giving her something so he can try to still get them endorsements.
I mean, that's what
So we
everybody's
don't
saying,
know.
Dave, though, but ain't no motherfucking telling if ESPN, well, it's not even ESPN. There's no telling if ESPN is going to hire him back. There's no telling if those endorsements that he had on the table, there's no telling if he's going to get them deals again, man. You know what I mean? He
It,
doing all this
it, it,
shit,
well, see,
on assumptions.
here's the thing. We going on assumptions, but here's the thing. You know what I'm saying? Regardless what it is. What it is, Shannon Sharp choose to play with the Saltine. He was after something young that he can control. And she loved him too. Because apparently she liked him because he was going to her damn apartment. It wouldn't have been me making the money that I'm making. I wouldn't been over there.
Hey, listen. He at the end of the day, man, Shannon Sharp, he set himself up for this shit. You know what I mean? He should have known in the beginning that, this young lady, was setting him up, for that bag. You know what I mean? And he fell for that shit. So I'm upset with him, for right now. Hopefully, you know, hopefully he still will be able to get that deal. Hopefully them deals are still on the table. But this is one thing that I said today at work, Dave. I said if he don't get them, if he end up paying this bitch and he got to still pay that lawyer, too, and he don't end up getting them deals, he may end up killing himself, man.
Man, well,
If
I'm gonna tell you like
ESPN
this.
don't call him back, he don't get them deals. Shannon Sharp may end up doing some stupid
No,
shit.
no, I'm gonna tell you like this. Shannon Sharp is a country. boy, Shannon Sharpe is a fool for doing what he wanted to do, doing what he did with that situation, which he knew is a possibility. It could have been coming after that bag. We seen it happening every day to everyone. And you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to make this a black and white thing, but clearly these black guys is not getting it. We are not the same as them others. You know what I'm saying? And we act like we get that bag and we start to get them millions that we can do what the hell we want to do. We ain't them. They
Listen, let
showed
me
us
say
what
this
locked Bill Cosby up. They,
exactly. Hopefully this
hold
this
on,
is
bro.
hopefully this is a
Hold
lesson,
on. Yeah.
to the up and coming athletes that's getting ready to come up into the to the next class of black men that's coming into these bags. You got to watch these women, not just the white girls, the black ones too. But you got to protect yourself. At the end of the day, protect yourself, protect that bag. You know what I mean, and protect your livelihood. And those are things that Shannon Sharpe did not do.
Well, at the end of the day, let's be real with this. You can't control how you feel when somebody making your toes curl. Whatever's going on in that bedroom with Becky, it must be something very exciting that Shannon Sharpe, the guy that stays in the gym, that stays buff, working hard. She said he's built like a goddess. That's what she said herself. So we don't know what she was doing to Shannon Sharpe. He clearly was making his toes curl because he was going to her apartment in her neighborhood, bro. With the money he got, he ain't no business being over there. So whatever he was doing, he was happy doing it, and he sure wasn't thinking. And a lot of these guys ain't thinking. Like the stuff, the rumors, man. Like they said, nah, it's rumors out here. They said Cassie was getting semen from the male prostitutes, and Diddy was following her into the room like a little kid, and she was rubbing it on his nipples and on his chest,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah,
So
I
this
don't know
is some
what the
strange
fuck,
people
in the
out
world is going
there.
on with, our black athletes, our black what's the word that I'm looking for? Entertainers. You know
And
what I mean? They get this money, you know what I mean? And it changes really who they are. Shannon Sharpe let some pussy, you know, Shannon Sharpe allowed for some pussy to let him lose anywhere from like 10 to 20 million, probably more than that at the end of the day, because if he's going to give this woman 10 million, I'm quite sure his lawyer is getting anywhere from 5 to 10 million at least. You know what I mean? So he's getting ready to be out of at least anywhere from 20 to 30 million, out of this deal. And plus, he still have not, guaranteed a contract or those endorsements yet. But yeah, man, hopefully this will be, like I said, this will be a lesson for, the next up and coming Shannon Sharp's athletes, that entertainers that's, coming along this venue. You know what I mean? Because
well, Dave,
it's a cruel world out there, Big Dave.
like I said, man, you can't control yourself when somebody making your toes curl, bro. Some of these guys are so freaky and nasty, man. They'll do anything for the pleasure, man. They'll do anything. They'll
Yep.
sell souls. When you willing to give up millions just for your toes to curl, that's a problem, bruh. That's a problem. So, but at the end of the day, I'm still happy it was dismissed because it could have turned the opposite way when she started screaming rape. See, so they knew that wasn't gonna work. But at the end of the day, I understand what's going on here, and he did what he wanted to do, so he's gonna have to pay the price. He's gonna have to pay the price. Hopefully, he can get his job back on first take, and if he don't, he gonna have to live with that. Like I said, I'm happy for the partial win for him because, like I said, he could have went to jail like Bill Cosby. It could have got real nasty, bruh. He could have went to jail like P Diddy. It could have got real nasty. So just to come out some money for a settlement, that's a win. That's a win because he could have been in jail because
Yeah,
she
man. Like
accused
I
him
guess if you
of.
want to look at it like that, Dave, I give you that, but at the end of the day, man, he didn't fucking rape her. It was a shakedown. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, he was shook down and they got him. They took him to the bank. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. He played himself.
Well, like I said, man. At the end of the day, I hope he learned his lesson. At the end of the day, I hope he gets his job back. But these motherfuckers better start thinking with that man. They better stop thinking with their nasty ideals, because some of these guys, they ain't regular guys, man. They bisexuals and they lying, acting like they regular. Whenever you start having somebody play with the back end and all that, man, you been a little too freaky. But I can't tell a person how to be. People got their own life and they do whatever the hell they want. It's their prerogative. If you're willing to come out these millions messing with people that you know gonna come after you, especially the saltines, they want to get lawyered up. And that's exactly what she did after all that fun she was having with him and all that butt playing. She got lawyered up and she came after him. So at the end of the day, bro, hey, hopefully things will get better and these people will start realizing it ain't worth it, man. But at the end of the day, man, I'm gonna talk about some other things, man. You know, we talked about Shannon Sharpe. That was a little something that we wanted to talk about. You know, we're gonna go back to this Boosie thing, man. Allegedly, it is getting worse for Boosie, man. I mean, we got some footage out here, and we got some audio that we got to find, man, that we want y'all to hear, man. We got some stuff we want y'all to hear because Boosie, now we finding out Jay Prince Jr. is behind it too. You know what I'm saying? And what I can't understand is why, if his name was associated with being responsible for Takeoff death, why is anybody want to go down there and get involved in a dice game with Jay Prince Jr. when we understand that the dice supposed to be loaded and it's a setup from the beginning? You know what I'm saying?
Dave,
Bear
I
with us,
have no
trying to
I
find that audio.
and I'm still trying to figure that out, Dave. You know, why is motherfucker still fucking with Jay Prince Jr., after you clearly just saw and you clearly heard, what went on in that situation with Takeoff. That man went down there, lost his life, and was supposed to have been down there protected, and covered by Jay Prince Jr., in his boys. You know what I mean? So, I don't
Let's call it what
understand why Duke the
mob
jeweler.
time. Mob
Yeah, by
time.
mob ties, you know what I mean? So I don't understand why Duke the jeweler, would be any different. You know what I mean? They took him down there, man, they lined him up, and it looks like the feds, trying to line them back up, so it looks like they got an investigation going on, allegedly, for Boosie.
Yeah, man. But man, like I said, man, y'all just bear with us. We trying to find a little bit of that audio so y'all can hear how the play went down inside the gambling hall, the dirty gambling hall of Jay Prince Jr. And for the love of me, if that was my son and I was Jay Prince Sr., man, there's no way in hell I will be allowing this, even though his son is grown. But you got to remember, he only's doing this because his father.
Fact.
He ain't got no money. We ain't heard him rapping. We ain't heard him doing nothing. His name is strong because his father's name.
Right. Yeah, so we're gonna let y'all hear a little bit of this video and then we'll get back to our commentary. I just don't understand, Big Dave.
I don't get it, bro.
Across the velvet like we met that dude Duke the jeweler the night before. We was gambling. The next day, dude followed us to the concert. When we left out the concert, we under the garage. Dude went to his car by himself and walked down to the parking lot. That's when somebody tried to make him.
He's the one that's tied to the dude that makes the loaded dice. Right? Check the play out. All entertainers, when you go to Houston, stay away from Jay Prince Jr. The whole play going on. Here go the play right here. The play is a loaded dice.
Blood-soaked dice clattered across the velvet like it was nothing. Laughter filled the air, fake smiles everywhere. But only one man didn't walk out alive. Duke the jeweler wasn't some broke hustler. He died surrounded by flashy liars and designer gear. Now there's heat on mob ties, and the feds are breathing down their necks. Duke didn't just get caught off guard. He was straight up hunted, and it wasn't by masked nobodies lurking in some alley either. He got lit up right after leaving Boogie's dice game, surrounded by people acting cool one second, then throwing weird glances and slick hand signs the next. And now, those same folks are caught in the federal crosshairs. Meanwhile, 50 Cent's out here adding fuel to the madness, dropping cryptic posts, sharing sketchy messages, and stirring things up like he knows something the streets don't. He's throwing shade like this wasn't some random shooting, it was a straight-up setup and the layers go deep. Here's where it turns into a full-on crime drama.
We walk into his car or something, and some dude tried to rob him. The dude tried to rob him. See some dudes that tried to rob me and walked off by himself, bro. I had just met dude yesterday. They try to rob dude, man. Dude must ain't get up.
Open flight check. We're up to departure. Flight attendants, please bear the catch.
Just met dude.
Just 2 weeks before Takeoff got hit at another dice game, Duke was shutting down tables at a J. Prince Jr. event. And when the wrong person starts winning too much, that's when egos snap and bullets start flying. Now Boosie, J. Prince Jr., Lil Cam, they're all under the spotlight and nobody's looking safe. What used to be quiet whispers is turning into a street-level firestorm. But how did it all spiral like this? Let's rewind it. What seemed like a chill dice game might have been a setup from the start. Duke the Jeweler was that dude. Built his empire out of Chicago, turned dreams into diamonds. And just like that, it all crashed in a flash. Duke wasn't out here tossing icy chains at every wannabe rapper. He was lacing the real heavy hitters, the ones actually running the industry. His pieces were fire, custom, flashy, one-of-ones, and his name was blowing up fast. He didn't pull up in Houston just to chill. It was business. Word is Boosie personally hit him up about a special order. So Duke packed that $1 million Louis duffel full of his flashiest work and touched down ready to cash out.
Right there, man.
Okay, yeah.
And then
so go ahead, Dave.
It's a dice game. Man, listen here, man. Why is Boosie claiming he don't know the guy? Even if you didn't know the guy, you knew him enough that you called his phone while he was out of state and asked him to come down and do you some custom pieces.
Man, and listen, Boosie must be the most stupidest nigga in the world. For him to try to say that he really didn't know him or he had just met him. Don't you know the feds nigga went and went and got all the evidence off of this man's phone, your phone too, and probably knew that you was communicating, that you probably had contacted him, for this setup, for this lineup. You know what I mean? Allegedly, Boosie brought him down there for to buy jewelry. You know what I mean? So for him to try to say that, Big Dave, he's making himself look guilty.
He's making himself look real bad. And I'm just trying to figure out what is wrong with these entertainers and rappers, man. What the hell is wrong with them? It seemed like everything, come on, man, you got a house, you got all kinds of land in Georgia. You got land in Baton Rouge. You got a studio in Houston. Come on, man. You going and coming whenever the hell you want. That ain't enough.
It's not.
That ain't enough.
No.
That you would get tied up with J. Prince Jr., the same one that's responsible for Takeoff murder. And they said Takeoff murder is still on his head.
Yeah, I don't know why motherfuckers is still trusting J. Prince Jr. You know what I mean? Especially after they know what happened with that Takeoff situation. You know what I mean? Guys come down there under the umbrella that they're thinking that that they're protected, and they're going to be taken care of. But, at the end of the day, these guys are setting them up, for setups. You know what I mean? And it's all a setup and it's all a money grab and a shakedown.
Man, but when you get to that order, man, when we get to that order, we want you to hear what happened actually inside the dice room. Because what's crazy is, for the love of me, if this was my son holding my name, he's named after his father, Prince Jr.
Right.
I mean, Prince Sr., I'm sorry, y'all. And he's Junior. He's J. Prince Jr. So he's making his father look bad. His father's supposed to be this rich guy that run Houston, but now you got your son in the mob ties doing dumb stuff. There's no way I will allow that. Grown or not, I would shut it down. I would
Fact.
shut. You would not drag my name through the mud.
But Jay Prince Sr. letting this shit, go down on his watch, man. Takeoff already done been murdered and killed, and that shit is still up under investigation. So, and then you have this Duke the Jeweler situation, which you have not really heard Jay Prince Sr. Speak much about this whole situation. He's pretty much been letting, Jay Prince Jr. take care of the situation or whatever, or do all the speaking, So, but yeah, we have more audio of that situation that we're gonna go on in and play, and then we'll get back to our commentary.
But what he didn't see coming was that the whole trip might have been a setup dressed like a business move. Now zoom in on that dice game, because it wasn't no friendly gambling circle. According to leaked audio from WAC 100. Yeah, someone with real street connects. This wasn't just a game. It was part of a shady preloaded hustle. Word is, Jay Prince Jr. runs what folks are now calling a straight-up rigged dice operation. And get this, it's always the same three dudes running the table. Lil Cam, Big Capri, and Wolf. That trio keeps the dice locked down like it's some underground ceremony. The rolls, never random. They make sure the house always wins unless someone breaks the rhythm. And that night, someone did. Wack claims Duke hit a streak with dice that weren't meant for him, and they were loaded. He started stacking quick. Hundreds turned to thousands, and the table was heating up. When someone messes up a rigged setup, it gets ugly fast. The folks in control start panicking. Their whole scheme goes sideways. And here's the real jaw dropper.
Forgive me for a minute, y'all are having technical difficulties.
What you say, Big Dave?
I'm telling the people we having technical difficulties.
Yeah, no, that's just a part of the video where they was talking to Duke the Jeweler, but I'm gonna fast forward part.
Okay.
The boss's profits, and to make it worse, Duke wasn't low-key. He was turned up, dripping in diamonds, flexing stacks, and recording the whole scene for the gram. Now this is where it gets seriously shady. If you pause the footage from that dice game at just the right moment, you'll catch something slick. Boosie lets out a quiet whistle. Not loud, not dramatic, just enough to peep if you're paying attention. Right after that,
Tainer invites him in. Act like he's covering for him, hanging out, everything is cool. Let's go here, let's go there, let's go here, let's go there. He introduces the dice game. He got three right, who rotate the dice. Now, these dice is loaded. Tell me it's a Wolf, Big Caprice, and watch this, and Little Cam are the loaded dice rotators, right? He said, why? There was a situation that occurred that a certain jeweler ground and got past the dice on accident and was hitting on them for a couple hundred. They got irritated about that. I ain't gonna go too far into that story because, right, boom. The only way they could get their money back was have money back. He said, but Lil Cam Wolf and Big Caprice are the three designated to say I'm up, I got the next, and they pass the dice to each other, but they loaded, but they shooting.
his nephew snaps his head straight at.
Well, my question to you, Dave, is a lot of people gonna ask is how WAC 100 get all this information and how do he know all this?
And man, I don't know how the hell he got any information. Apparently he knows somebody. Apparently somebody's telling him something, because if we not mistaken, I can't remember what year it was, but Whack 100 and his brother was in Houston, and both of them are felons, and they got caught with guns in the car, and they went to jail, and he was able to bond out. And some mistakenly or somehow it disappeared. We never
Right,
heard nothing else about it. Him getting no time. Anybody, everybody knows when you're a felon, you are not allowed to be around weapons.
right.
Period.
Yeah, so that's a lot of people is going to be keying in on that. Like, why do Whack always have all this information? But if what Whack is saying is 100, you know what I mean, and all the way legit, it sounds like, man, these guys, Jay Prince Jr. and they've been running some scams on everybody who comes down there to the Houston for these motherfucking dice games. So the Amigos, they need to look into these motherfuckers, because it sounds like they've been setting niggas up for years, Big Dave.
Well, at the end of the day, what they're saying is now a lot of the entertainers and a lot of people are start that usually check in and think that they're safe and protected by Prince Jr. They're starting not to come down there. They're starting not to do things in Houston no more because it's starting to be a big problem. And like I said, Mob Ties and Jay Prince Jr. are being investigated, and they've been being investigated from Takeoff murder. But it's starting to happen. So Whack 100 hearing anything is probably coming straight from the camel's mouth. The people that's been down there involved and seeing shady things going on because there's a lot of talk going on. But what we do know in that dice game, things went bad because it didn't go the way that they wanted it to go. It was supposed to break this man. It was supposed to make this man broke. But what happened? He came there and broke everybody, and they got mad.
Facts. Broke shook the game up, like they were saying in the video, these motherfuckers had loaded dice. So basically they were planning on trying to break this man, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he turned that he turned the shit around, and ended up breaking everybody there at the game.
And the crazy thing about all of it, Boosie with the silent whistle. And usually when somebody do a whistle like that in the middle or something like that, it is alerting someone to get ready.
Right. Yep.
It's alerting someone, and nobody in there was for him. And for the God of me, why again? I just listen. We just did a show on this yesterday that is starting to upset me more and more. Why was Duke the jeweler down there with all that shit by himself? For the load of me, listen. I'm quite sure he heard about Takeoff. Ain't nobody in the world ain't heard what happened to Takeoff. There's no way in hell I would have been at a dice game down there.
Without your peoples with you, you know what I mean? There's no reason he should have been down there alone, by himself, Dave. You know what I mean? Especially after hearing what happened to Takeoff, but he went down there, we spoke about this yesterday. He went down there on the assumption that, he was taking care of business with men with money. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, he probably had no clue or probably didn't even think that, Boosie was on that bullshit. You know what I mean? He
You
probably thought in his head, Dave, okay, this man got millions. Jay Prince and them, they got money. So why would these guys be looking at me like I'm food?
You heard what they said that he was blowing up and he was dealing with the big money makers. So that means he was dealing with people with money. So he never ran into a problem like that before. So he thought it was going to be the same situation when he went down to Houston, not knowing that these people was being shady from the beginning.
Yeah.
They was
Set
being
him up and lined him
yeah,
up.
yeah. So and then and for Boosie to get on camera and say he did not know the guy, but he called the guy. And then they find the bag in your house, the Louis with all the pieces they find in your crib.
Right.
And on top of that, they trace the phone back to your studio. Y'all didn't even try to get rid of the phone.
And
Throw it
then
away, break
and
it
then
up.
on top of that, they found fingerprints from two of his I believe his cousins on the
Relative
car that Jake
cousin
Duke the jeweler had.
in his truck.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy.
So at the end of the day, and then they say that Boosie's girlfriend said that Boosie ran in the house like someone was after him.
Yeah, so the whole scenario, man, this whole situation to me, Dave, it's not looking good for Boosie. Hopefully, he has hired a lawyer, and is getting himself prepared, because when the feds come, man, they not bullshitting. That means that they've already took their time and investigated, and been talking to people, so I don't know what's going to happen with this case, but we definitely going to stay
We're
looking
gonna
forward to this case.
because the feds have a 95 success, a 95% success.
Conviction rate, yes.
And at the end of the day, this is not a good thing because a man life is took that was blowing up in the world that was about business, man. He wasn't out here doing no harm to people. He wasn't out here setting people up or robbing people based on what we hear. He was just about his business trying to blow up in the industry, was selling his jewelry. Remember, Pow Wow is from Houston, and Pow Wow blew up from entertainment world with his mouthpieces, with
Right.
blinged out mouthpiece. You
Yeah,
know,
with the grills, yeah.
yeah, with the
Hmm.
grills. That's how Power Wow blew up. So this man just doing the same thing like any other person, any other entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? And you get took out because you trust in people that you think already got their life set. Boosie been in the game for a long time, man. One of my famous songs, man. I remember I used to go in the bar, man. And all the ladies used to come around, man. As soon as that song come on, they all start doing the wipe down, and I do the
Right.
wipe down, wipe me down. But Boosie, like I said, man, if allegedly, if he that what he's been accused for, if come to find out that he did this, I hope they put his ass under the jail. Him and Jay Prince Jr. and them, I hope they put their asses under the jail. I ain't gonna feel sorry for them because this is what I don't like. Why is blacks keep doing this shit to each other? It's bad enough we got crooked cops taking us out. Then we gonna take each other out for them even more.
Facts.
Why?
Yeah, man. I just don't understand, because Boosie making money, Duke the Jeweler was making money, and Jay Prince Jr. and there was making money. So, why did this man have to lose his life, over a few dollars and some jewelry? It's a shame, man, but we got to do better as a group, as a race.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you know, um, we're gonna keep y'all updated on any little information we get out, and when we get ready to go live on anything, we're gonna let y'all know a day before to get ready so y'all can come in because we want your comments. We want to hear everything you got to say. Y'all make sure y'all like. Throw them likes up, man. Get them likes going. We need them likes. Make sure y'all like and make sure y'all share the channel and make sure y'all subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, man. And hit that bell on that next to that subscribe button so y'all can get shows all the time. You dig what I'm saying? So we're going to go on and get ready to get out of here, Dane, unless you got something more to say.
No, I don't really have nothing to say, Dave, but at the end of the day, man, be careful who you surround yourself with. Jay Prince Jr. and them, it looks like they've been doing this shit for years, setting motherfuckers up with these dice games, you know what I mean? And then with the whole thing with Takeoff, it's been two murders, up under their belt, man, pretty much. So, my at the end of the day, man, just be careful of your surroundings, Big Dave.
Well, I'm going to let y'all know before we get up out of here, man. The special quote for the day is whenever you think things is always good, come to find out it ain't. Real talk.